It sounds funny, but some of my best friends are bankers. There's a lot of honest people in finance. Don't overgeneralize. But the honest guys I know in finance are amazed we haven't put Glass-Steagall back in. They're like, how could you not put it back in? It prevented bank crashes for over 50 years. It's the most obvious thing in the world. How could you not put it back in?
And Sandy Weil. And when it was in effect, I don't recall seeing a bunch of bankers begging for food.
Right.
They did fine.
Yeah,
but our economy didn't grow at all over that 7-year
Explain.
period.
I know. Let me say another guy, who said, how could you give us bonuses after we crashed the economy? There are honest people in finance, but unfortunately they're in the minority, and they look around them and go, Jesus Christ, what are you letting these guys do?
Yeah, there are a few Serpicos inside of Wall Street. Yes,
but you know, my wife worked on Wall Street, and there were people that she associated with, and all they did was complain about Taft-Hartley. What's the
Glass-Steagall?
No, the one.
Oh, Frank Dodd.
Yeah, Dodd Frank.
Dodd
I mean,
Frank.
all they did was like, oh, we're getting regulated to death, and you're like, what is happening? What is the? But explain this to me, Jen, because I don't like. Too big to fail means we're not going to let the bank fail, which I understand the principle of, right? Mm-hmm. I don't understand. Like, what does Jamie Dimon run with Chase, right?
yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Jamie Dimon has committed a crime worth that's hypothetically Jamie Dimon. If they came in with a FIFA-like warrant and arrested Jamie Dimon and cuffed him, Chase would not collapse the next day.
Right.
They would name someone else to run it, and I would still go in there and get $140 and try and do my mortgage.
No, but
right? So there's nothing keeping them from arresting 633 bankers. 133. Fuck it, 33.
Okay, so let me answer that in a couple of parts. So number one, the argument they make is, well, if we are arresting a Jamie Dimon-like person, that means the system, it's that company is systemically corrupt. Okay, like they did X, Y, and Z, and the reality is, if Jamie Dimon, the CEO, ordered those things, the counterparties to JP Morgan are going to want their money back, okay? And when they want their money back, JP Morgan doesn't have the money. None of the banks have the money. They're all leveraged. A reasonable leverage is 5-1, right? Okay? Now, a lot of people would argue 10-1. Some of them secretly, off the books, are 130-1, which is mental and bound for collapse, okay? But even in the best case scenario, 5-1, which would be is really safe. That's a good banking model, right? If all the 5 goes, give me my money, goes, I only have 1, right? So, and that's how banking's supposed to work, even in the best case scenario. So they're worried about a run like that. So that's why they say that. Now, in reality, could they arrest Jamie Dimon? They get a new CEO the next day and they have new rules and they pay everybody like they're supposed to? Of course they can. So you're right, of course they can. But they can even go further. Let me just finish this
I
out.
think they're going to say what I'm about to say. Good.
They could actually nationalize that bank, okay? And I know a guy who worked at one of the major banks as a major partner who said, of course they should have been nationalized. Here's why. Not because we're communists, certainly not because my banker friends are communists, deeply capitalist, okay? So it's because if you're putting the money in, you're the investor, you should get the returns. That's capitalism, right? So if I have, let's say, arrested Jamie Dimon and 633 other executives and JP Morgan was doing all this bad shit, I nationalize it and go to everybody who has money in JP Morgan, whether you're a depositor or you have a contractual agreement with them, you're another bank. You say, don't worry, you're getting your money. No, don't. Everybody's fine. I'm the government. We're going to do this. But once I rescue this bank and then it becomes profitable again, I will take the profits because I am the investor. Okay. And then, because the government shouldn't be in the business of banking, I will, once things have calmed down and I've gotten the return that any investor would get, and it's stable, I will then resell it. I will put it back into the private market. This is not an outrageous idea. It's been done many times. Iceland did it during the crisis, and they now have the best economy in Europe.
And they put their bankers in jail.
Right, and they put their bankers in jail. So it is entirely doable. The reason it isn't done is obviously because the bankers bought the politics.
Yes.
So because what you explained in detail and with some degree of knowledge, I would have said the government just comes in and tells those 5 people, you can't come in right now and take it. Like, you can't destroy the bank. and you came up with a way to do that. There might even be other ways. Even if the government just said that, the Fox would scream, "They're nationalizing the banks!" Right?
Right.
So whatever version they have, it can be done.
Of course it can.
But you talk about Glass-Steagall and it not being reinstated. Sandy Weil, who was the guy who was the head of Citigroup, right? He was with Travelers, then Citigroup. He was the one who got Glass-Steagall repealed. It was his baby. He came out and said, we should obviously reinstate Glass-Steagall. Sandy Weil has said that. That's like Chris Christie rethinking deep frying.
By the way, Bill Clinton also said it was a mistake.
He has said that?
Yes.
Because that must be recent because he was defending it for a while.
No, I think he went
did
back to
last
defending
year,
it.
Oh, is he going back to defending it
but
now?
after the crisis, he said that was a mistake.
Oh,
We'll just vote for Hillary, and I'm sure she'll
do a good
right
job.
back in there.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that is very real. If you're in any way near a decent reporter on the campaign trail, you should ask Hillary Clinton. Your husband said that repealing Glass-Steagall was a mistake. Do you agree? Will you look to reinstate Glass-Steagall?
Yeah, and she's gonna take that question sometime next June.